Good morning, guys. My name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Sunday morning, Sunday. It's a very nice, warm, sunny day. I got up around 7:30ish. And here I am making a cup of coffee, which I have made. And as you can see, Max is okay from last night. He wasn't bitten, he was just had a little altercation with a pit bull terrier, a white pit bull terrier. So this morning I'm feeling okay. I've got to go to the shop to get some coffee because I forgot to get it yesterday, and I do like my Sunday newspaper. I'm now going to have my Actimel, which I have first thing in the morning. Alexa, what's the time, please?
The time is 8:07 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
It's Sunday the 22nd of May.
And Alexa, the weather? Alexa, the weather this morning.
This morning, you can expect mostly sunny skies, with temperatures around 18 degrees Celsius.
They're nice, they are. They're good for you. Alexa, tell me a joke.
Why do ghosts love elevators? It lifts their spirits.
Bit better than the other one. Alexa, thought of the day.
Here is your thought for May 22nd, from Steve Jobs. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. And, like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on.
Right, guys, so last night, me and Max he sat on that side of the sofa, I sat on that side of the sofa and watched TV. There was Goosebumps 2 on yesterday. I do like Goosebumps with Jack Black in. I remember watching that and then switching on and off different things, you know, and just relaxing yesterday. My mum rang in the evening, as she usually does, and I think I put that up, and that was it. Let's just take a quick look outside. It is very sunny and nice. Take Max out for a walk again. To sit on my chairs. They actually do love to sit on my chairs. It's very funny. I went to sit on the chair on the balcony and my cat Nikki is sat on there. And she's usually sat on the chair I'm sat at now. I've got no banana this morning. I'm going to have to get a banana. Alexa, can you put LBC radio on, please?
LBC London from Global Player.
It's so widely borne, it gives the police immense power and discretion as to when they say an offence has been committed, and they don't need much of an excuse in those circumstances to arrest someone. And then on top of that, they brought in powers to stop and search without suspicion where they suspect that people are going to be locking on or on their way to lock on.
Which is, even I can see, that's so vague. They can literally go up to anybody and say, I think you're, well, they don't have to say, I think you're locking on, just to search you, there and then.
Yeah, exactly. So, stop and search, even when there's reasonable suspicion, incredibly controversial.
Yes.
Then without reasonable suspicion. And the problem is with a lot of this, and I think perhaps part of the reason behind these proposals, is that they put people off from going to protests in the first place.
Damn right. They really would.
Exactly. These people are not planning to do anything disruptive if they're going along, and lots of the protests we've seen in years, people who are not die-hard protesters, who are going there for the first time, lots of young people. I remember, this was the case back in 2010 with the student protests, lots of people protesting for the first time, and there comes this immense crackdown, and people are terrified. So they get kettled, they get stopped and searched.
Can I ask, so, as I was reading out the new offences, the two that sort of caught me, obstructing major transport work such as HST, and perhaps less so than this new offence of interference with key national infrastructure. Because I read the line, interference with key national infrastructure, I think immediately, of course that should be illegal. You can't have people, affecting oil plants or gas infrastructure. I mean, you just can't. I guess I want to go, do we not have existing legislation to deal with those issues? If not, then what would possibly be the problem with those two new offences?
Well, we do have existing legislation to deal with, which will capture all of those. And this is really, if you have a look down the list of key national infrastructure, at the bottom of the list they have printing presses, which the motivation for this came from. It came from the largely right-wing press getting very upset when there was a brief blockade of their presses, and Priti Patel was, it was revealed in the later trial that arose out of that, because people were prosecuted for it, and was getting involved and phoning the police officers through the night to try and get her stick her oar in and sort it out herself. And no doubt she was getting pressure from behind the scenes herself to do that. And that's where the motivation comes from, is to send out a message to those who, that she is concerned about.
I have to say, Tom, I'm very indebted to you for guiding us through the legal side of it. But what you said about how these proposals could deter people from even joining a protest, that I'm carrying with me, because I think that is of great concern. They say, ministers say, they support the right to protest, but they're introducing laws which, as you just heard from Tom Wainwright there, from the Garden Court Chambers, suggest something very different. Now, Paul Stevens, he's got a perspective, again, I guess you can see both sides of this, or at least two sides. He's a former detective sergeant, and you're probably known on LBC as the Extinction Rebellion spokesperson to boot. So good morning to you, Paul.
Matthew.
Can I start with, as I said, many former officers have told me over the years that the police already have lots and lots of powers to go back to the 80s and beyond. And they would be better off using those powers in existence rather than endlessly bringing in new legislation. What do you say to that?
Well, I think the last rebellion that we had, which was 3 weeks ago in the centre of London, was a good example of that, because the police, for once, we had a good meeting beforehand, and they stepped back and they facilitated blocking roads for a certain amount of time. They didn't move in and make arrests straight away. We kind of worked quite cooperatively. So
I'm just going to ask on that. So when you made an agreement to block a road, did you stick to the time that you agreed?
We didn't, in advance, we don't say we're going to agree to block a road. But I think the police and the judiciary, they completely understand that protests have to have a degree of disruption. Otherwise it is not a protest. It doesn't have any effect whatsoever. So that is agreed by everyone. When you listen to Priti Patel, she makes it sound as though protests should not have any degree of disruption, which is absurd, And you cannot say that protest is a cornerstone of democracy if you say that there is no disruption involved in protest. There has to be.
So the first one I went on was, I think, 1980 or 81, was the CND march in London, and got very little publicity around it. I think it was about 150 to 200,000 people on the march, and we just did whatever the usual march was, from Hyde Park down to Downing Street as the background, and obviously that would bring a lot of disruption for one day. I guess, as a Londoner who's experienced the disruption at XR events, I guess somebody would say, well, one day's disruption on a Saturday, even if they say there's a demonstration every other Saturday, that's one thing. But when it runs day after day after day, that does impact on people's lives. It's not just a bit of disruption, it becomes a bit more serious, and that's perhaps why.
Stop. Right, guys, hope you didn't mind me blowing up my blues while I was listening to the radio, but that's what I usually do in the morning. I hope everyone has a lovely Sunday. I'm expecting a call from my mum, and that's about it, and I'll see you all later.